Welcome back online, guys. TomoGotchi here. And apparently the previous episode was not as long as I thought it was. So, there you go. Right. I think there's only 2 duels to go in this game. So we have YuGiOh here. And I promised before, and definitely last episode, I was saving it for this. So, fun fact. By the way, I love this music. Fun fact. I actually wanted to save this story, not for a let's play, but I wanted to do like an animated story time thing. And be like, this is why I left YuGiOh. And I wanted that to be an animation. I wanted to animate that story, okay? That never happened. So, I think I definitely do want to tell this story. And I guess it's better off if I just have it said here. I'll stick you here. Why not? Of all the places to tell the story, why not in a YuGiOh game? It just makes too much sense. So, strap yourselves in. This is going to be a very long duel, I can already tell. So, I played YuGiOh for a long time. Like, I've pretty much been there from the beginning when Blue Eyes White Legend of Blue Eyes was the first set. It was the first set, and it came out, and I got the starter deck, and I was in high school when that happened. And you know, I was a big fan of Pokemon, and YuGiOh is in a lot of ways is the same thing as Pokemon, pretty much. So I don't need to tell you why YuGiOh became popular, but I was there. I was there when it began, and I was there for a lot. I was in for the long haul. I can tell you this right now. I loved the anime growing up. I'll stick you there. Why not? Oh, it's Karibo, and he's playing another Karibo. So, when Metal Raiders came out. Metal Raiders was such a big set, nostalgic set for me, because it had so many cards from the anime. It's like I wanted to have them all, because look at all these cards. There's Gate Guardian, there's Barrel Dragon, there's Castle of Dark Illusions and Pumpkin, even though their effects are weird. There's Labyrinth Tank, like all these really cool monsters in Metal Raiders. But anyway, I stuck with YuGiOh for a very long time. I've had breaks in between, and there were certain sets that I missed, but I had a fun time. It wasn't all great. I did get bullied a lot, specifically by this group of people, and I'll just say this much, okay? These people, they were big bullies of mine, and they had one thing in common, and that was that they used Monarchs. And that was like their big thing. Because of course Monarchs was the top winning deck at the time. And so I just kind of identified Monarchs as just like the ones that the bullies use. And so that's why I hated Monarchs for a long time. Anyway, I am getting to a point here. I just want to establish, okay, that I played YuGiOh for a long time. I've had my ups, I had my downs. I did win a couple tournaments. Not a lot of tournaments, but I did win a couple. There's a lot of cards that I like. I was there during the GX era. I was so excited when the GX cards came out, because they had the Veercroids. I played Veercroids. I played Insectors when they came out, and take a huge guess why. Insectors, right? I played Insectors. Not Insectors, Insectors. I don't need to explain why. But I like the Insector archetype. Even though, ironically, the archetype kind of overshadowed every Google result from that point forward. So, that was hilarious. I played Trains, because of course I did. Because I like trains. I played Toons. Toons I liked a lot. I even played them back in the day when they were first a thing, even though they kind of sucked. But thankfully, they did get support. So that was the good thing. I stuck it out. And I do admit, I was there through a lot of different metas. Particularly the Monarchs meta. Wow, okay, he's playing YuGiOh. Okay, this story is about why I left, okay? Because I did stick it out for a very long time. I really had faith in the game. I really enjoyed it, and I really liked collecting the cards. I collected the cards for such a very long time. Then Pendulums showed up, but here's the thing. It wasn't the Pendulums themselves that made me leave. I'm trying to remember what sets came out around about that time, but it was before it was like the first set. I'll put it on screen, the set in which Pendulums were first introduced. That was the set that was most recent where I left the game entirely. But, and this is what I want to talk about, the thing with YuGiOh is that it has evolved. The big thing about YuGiOh is that it keeps on making new game mechanics, and it keeps on creating more support and more. Whoa, Mirror Force, hang on. Okay. That sucks. Okay, I'm gonna put you here then, I guess. Ooh, that's a nasty blow. I knew this duel would be long. The game, as more sets were coming out, set after set after set, and it's inevitable with most card games, where it's like, of course they keep releasing sets. It's YuGiOh. But the thing about YuGiOh that tears it apart from most other card games, like Pokemon or Magic the Gathering, is that it doesn't matter how long you play this game, or how long you take a break from it. There's a ban list, of course, but the thing about YuGiOh is that any card that was released many, many years ago, assuming that the ban list isn't, assuming that it's not banned or limited because of the recent meta, then you can play it. So any card that comes out are legal to play. And he just got a Destiny draw. That's okay. What did you get there, Yugi? What did you get, Yugi? You're making me nervous. Oh. Well, okay then. I really tried to stick it out. Oh wait, what was the card then? YuGiOh? Well, okay then. Finish you off with this bug. And I just beat Yugi. Like I said, I was getting bullied in the game a lot, but I stuck through it. I kept buying cards, I kept updating my deck. But as the years went on, the game's become much more complicated. Then it got to a point where I started to notice that not only could I not keep up, but the game was getting progressively more and more complicated and more, how do I put this? I'm trying to explain myself here. There's like a bunch of things I do not like about the game that, and I admit this is nobody's fault. Power creep happens to everything, but over the years, Yu-Gi-Oh! Just started getting more and more complicated. More and more decks were coming out where you would have this situation where your opponent would constantly be spamming cards over and over, and then just get into a situation where I could not do anything. Like, the game was fun because I could interact, but the game has become less and less about interacting with one another and more about how much you can break the game because it's gone on for so long. Yeah, I am definitely deck editing for this. I had moments throughout my life of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Where I'm like, the game is just getting too much. But I really tried to justify it and just go, I really want... You know what? I'm going to fight this guy now. Save first, just in case. Let's face this guy now and continue telling the story. Like, I really struggled to stay in this game. And it was for a bunch of reasons, although in retrospect, maybe I shouldn't have. On one hand, I had the mentality of, oh, well, I don't want them to win, because if I leave, you know, you keep... It's that old saying, you try, you fail, you try, you fail, but you only truly fail when you stop trying. I had that mentality. And I didn't want to have that mentality. It's like, no, I'm not gonna give up, because the moment I do, well, that's it then, isn't it? Then I've absolutely given up. So that was one reason. Another reason was my friends were playing it, and it was kind of like, I mean, I have really good friends. There's no denying. Like, if you guys are listening, you're all awesome. It doesn't matter whether you play. It doesn't matter what you play or what you do. You guys are awesome. I will always stand by that. But part of the reason I stuck with Yu-Gi-Oh! Is because it was that thing that we all had. It's like, we're Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, and we're all playing this game, and we all have our own decks, and we have our own experiences, and we look out for each other, and you know, we're in a tournament. No matter what happens, let's. Oh, okay. I'm probably gonna need to run away from this. Oof. So it was partly just to give myself a reason to see friends, if nothing else, and be like, I'll play this game because it's what we do. It's because I don't get a lot of opportunities to see friends anymore, because you know, I'm an adult. We're all adults, and you know, we have our own things going on. So that was another reason. I also wanted to stay in the hopes that all of my favorite... What are you doing? What did you just do? What is this? Sorry. That's stupid, but okay. Right. I need to get out of Dodge now. It was basically me just saying, I really need to see this through to the end. I really need to keep playing this game because I'm seeing friends. I also wanted to be more active, and that was a great way to do it. It's like, okay, go to the local card shop, meet my friends, play the game, keep my mind focused and stuff like that. And that was a reason. So I kept on with the game because I wanted to keep playing. I wanted to keep active, and I like the franchise. Like, for all my complaints of how the meta is handled, or the ridiculousness of certain mechanics and the constant ruling arguments. Oh, we'll get to that. we'll get to that. That's one of the reasons why I left. But it's like I am having fun and I'm doing something, so it's worth it to stay on, right? But the truth of the matter is, I was getting fatigued throughout the game because it just kept it got to a point where it was becoming repetitive, and in a bad way. And it wasn't just the whole, oh well, the recent deck is this and everyone's just going to be playing it over and over. That didn't help, but that wasn't the reason. But then I wanted to continue playing, and the longer I kept on playing, it kind of became that question of, should I keep playing? Because, by the way, I'm going to skip this. I've already seen your battle animation. It was, how do I explain? I'm trying to lament that moment. I did okay. I'm probably going to die because of this. Oof. Granted, I don't think I'm going to get a game over. But then again, I've already saved. He looks cool, by the way. So, I tried to justify it, but it really was that fatigue of me just constantly going, constantly losing because I was, of course. It's because I will say this, I understand that a lot of my deck choices are not great. I try to run decks that I enjoy. Insectors was pretty much the closest thing I ever ran to meta, but it wasn't like I was completely demotivated. How to explain this? It wasn't like I was completely oblivious to the recent meta. If anything, I was actually trying my best to overcome whatever the meta was, if that makes sense. And losing sucks, but I want to say this right now. Losing sucks, and there is that moment of, oh, hello, you're dead. But not the card I wanted you to destroy, so that's a problem. So I was sort of that in between. I wanted to compete in tournaments, but I didn't want to run the top tier decks only because I just didn't feel like playing meta. I just didn't want to play that way. That's just how it was. Oh, hello, I get Destiny Draw. This is interesting. Oh, hello. Hello. You know, I think I'll keep that card. You know what? I'll put this face down. What do you do again? Oh yeah, that's right. It's that broken. Okay. Right. So carrying on with the story, right? I tried to justify it. I was having fun, but it was that basic fatigue and all those reasons I just now listed. You know what? I'm gonna risk it and let him just swipe at me once, so I can play something good to use that card with. Knew it. That's fine. Oh wait, hang on. Oh, I'm an idiot. I misread the life points. It's because I'm trying to tell a story here, and I'm not concentrating enough. Oh, I'm such a dummy. Oh, I thought I had over 2,000 life points, but I didn't. That's on me. You know, and even back then when I was getting fatigued, it was never that point where it's like, I've always believed it's like, if it was my fault that I lost, I don't complain. That's what happened here, essentially. It's like, I made a mistake, I lost, oh well, carry on. But the more the game got on, and the game has just gotten more and more ridiculous. There were plenty of cards I hate. Even to this day, I do kind of resent certain cards. Where, and you know the kinds of cards I'm talking about. The kind of cards where they do so much for so little. Where it's like, I only need like 100 life points, but I completely wreck the opponent's field. That kind of thing. Okay, I've got an advantage here. It's great. Even if he destroys it, Slate Warrior's gonna live. And, well, Slate Warrior's not gonna live, but Black Skull Dragon's gonna be destroyed. And I get to turn it into Crush Card Field, which means Black Skull Dragon is finito, because all you've got is strong monsters. Haha. And because he has Riroku, I'm going to need to keep Injection Fairy Lily there. Put you there. Eventually, anyway, I'm trying to get to the story. I know, it's taken me a while. But I'm just trying to remember, because I gotta admit, it's been so long ago that even now I'm like, wait, is that how it happened? There's like a whole bunch of reasons. But eventually I didn't resent the game, and I understood why it was turning into what it was turning into. But I was not staying in the game for the right reasons. And that's kind of where I'm at. You know what? I'm not risking it. And it was only until the set, which came out with the pendulum stuff. Oh wait, that's right. When pendulums came out, sorry, I just remembered something. When pendulums came out and they had that mechanic that allows you to pendulum summon a whole bunch of monsters, I thought that was ridiculous. Because remember, I want to remind you real quick. Oh, well, would you? Look at that. Ha ha. Dummy. You dumb. Ha ha ha. It's like, I hate Monarchs enough. And now you're bringing out this, which allows you to special summon a whole bunch of monsters. By the way, side tangent here. And I still feel this now. Special summoning, right? I don't care what anybody says. I am saying this clearly. Can we stop calling them special summons? This is just a minor complaint that I have, of course. It's a very minor thing, and it's not tandem to what I'm trying to talk about here. But I just want to establish this, okay? I really hate how we call it special summons. Why are we calling them special summons? I'm being serious. At what point is it special? I'm not joking. Think about it. Every deck, especially nowadays, is based on special summoning multiple times during a turn. You think about synchro monsters, right? What do? You normal summon a monster, then you special summon a tuner, and then you synchro summon and you get a powerful monster, and then somehow you get another monster, and then you synchro that monster, and then you get another synchro monster, and then that monster gets a monster out from your deck, and so on and so forth. And look, I'm not complaining about the mechanic itself. It's fine. My question is, why do we call it special summoning? When it's probably more common of a summon than normal summonings, which I remind you happens once per turn. Heck, There's a deck that came out recently. What was it called? Flow and Drees? Or something like that? Flow and Drees? Like the bird archetype that... You know what I mean? The bird archetype that normal summons each other. That's more of a special summon than anything that is actually called special summon. What is so special about special summoning when you're constantly doing it, and you need to constantly do it in order to gain an advantage? What's the point? But anyway, that's just a minor nitpick of mine. I'm not complaining about the mechanic itself. It's just something that's always irked me, even to this day. It's like, it's not a special summon, dude. It's literally just an extra summon. That's why I've called them another summon. Another summon Blue Eyes. Another summon Toon. Because it's not special summon, it's just another summon. Because you do it more often than that. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here, okay? Again, I'm really sorry. When I get into the zone, and especially since I'm in my mid-30s, and even this story I'm telling, it's like there's gaps that I'm probably leaving out. But anyway, there's so much fatigue in the game, and the game's gotten so complicated, and I decided, you know what, I looked in the mirror one day. Actually, you know what? Sorry, I'm getting off track here. Oh, actually, have I beaten you already? Oh, I've beaten you already. But I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna finish this story. Whatever. It got to the point where it was becoming a little bit more monotonous to play the game, and I was getting so sick of ruling arguments, because ruling arguments is one of the biggest things I hate about Yu-Gi-Oh, because the game is just that complicated that... Oh, hang on, I actually want... Oh, I got red eyes. Cool. It was just that I hate getting into ruling arguments, and I got into them constantly, especially in the late game. I cannot lose! And whenever I got into a ruling argument, the game just comes to a screeching halt. And one of the most common arguments that I got with people is over a card called Solemn Warning. If you don't know what that is, I'll tell you. Pay 2,000 life points to negate this normal or special summon of a monster, or negate the effect of a card that allows you to normal or special summon monsters. Essentially, like I'm remembering here. And it was the main reason I got into so many ruling arguments, and here's why. I play fusion monsters. Now, the fusion monsters that I play, they require some form of spell card. Viacroids is a prime example, but I've played other fusion monsters like Last Warrior and so on and so forth. So, let's just say, for sake of argument, and since this is normal Yu-Gi-Oh here, let's say I wanted to summon Gaia the Dragon Champion. Oh, hello. Yes, I'm going to save. Thank you very much. So, in order to summon Gaia the Dragon Champion, I would need to play Polymerization and put Gaia the Fierce Knight and Curse of Dragon into my graveyard, and then bring the fusion monster out from my extra deck. My opponent plays Solemn Warning. Now, he thinks that because he negates Gaia the Dragon Champion, that I've just wasted 3 cards. Because he's playing it on Gaia the Dragon Champion. He is negating the summon of that, and Gaia the Dragon Champion goes to the graveyard, and I don't get the 2 requiring monsters back. Right? That is not how it works. Because there's a thing called chain link. Because, and here's the reason why, the summon has already happened and he's missed his timing to negate it. So if he wants to negate Gaia the Dragon Champion, he needs to play Solemn Warning on Polymerization, not Gaia the Dragon Champion. Because he needs to chain Polymerization's effect, or he's letting it go off. So, that said, I get into the situation where I'm like, okay, so I play Polymerization, I send Gaia and Curse of Dragon to the graveyard, send the fusion requirements to the grave, play Gaia the Dragon Champion. He would play Solemn Warning, and I'd be like, oh, okay, I wish you would have reacted to that. So I put Gaia the Dragon Champion back, leave Polymerization in the grave, but get back Gaia and Curse of Dragon, because that's how it happens. And that's when the ruling argument starts. And I swear to you, I have looked this up countless times. It got to the point where I had a penny jar for every time it would happen, and specifically with that card. By the way, I've already finished the game. I'll finish the story, and that was just one. That was just one of the many arguments I got. But Solemn Warning was just that card that I got into constant arguments about. And Yu-Gi-Oh is just that complex of a game. These ruling arguments would happen often. Doesn't matter who's right or wrong. Doesn't matter what the rules actually are. Doesn't even matter if a judge is there present to dictate every effect. That's how it was. The ruling arguments were so frustrating. And that was happening a lot more often the more certain cards would come out. And so, I'm sorry, I'm leaving out a lot of gaps here to this story. There was a lot going on in my life at that point, and I was really getting upset, and I was really trying hard to stick with the game, but with all the bullying and the ruling arguments and the constantly getting whooped by the latest meta deck that wouldn't let me, where it was designed to make sure that I would never get to play the game. It was just... By the way, I just realised I've got Incarnation up, haven't I? And... oof. It was getting really, really frustrating. Okay, I do have it. So, more events like that were happening. And I was really trying hard to rise above it and be like, okay, let's just continue on. Yeah, they're all new cards. That's great. But eventually, and here's the real unfortunate situation that I was in. I weighed the pros and cons. I tried to justify me staying constantly, but it just wasn't. You know what? I'm dueling you again. Why not? But it just wasn't worth it. And so eventually, I decided, hey, let's look in the mirror. I'm not even kidding. I literally looked in the mirror and I said to myself, Tom, forget the bullying, forget the ruling arguments, forget all of what you've been through, okay? And there were a lot of stuff that was happening and with politics at the time that were also tandem to it. But ultimately, I eventually got up and said, Tom, listen, dude, I just want to ask this simple question, okay? Despite everything, is the game still fun? And I gave it some thought. I really tried to weigh things out, but the answer was no. And at that point, I just decided, I can't do this anymore. It was just that moment of me realizing it's just not, this game just isn't providing enough. for me to really see past all of its flaws. I really did try and be like it can be if this and this and this and this, but it just wasn't enough, and so I left. Not in like a way where it's like, oh, I despise this game now. No, it wasn't like that. It was more to the point of, I just can't. I can't keep up. I can't match the meta. I can't stick around. It's just not healthy for me to stick around if it's actually putting me in a... How to explain this? It's not entertaining me. It's just becoming more and more frustrating. And at the end, it's just... I just don't have it in me to stick around anymore. So, all that said, I decided this is it. Like, and especially since pendulums are now a thing, I just think it would be best if I just retired at this point. It's just not enough. And so that's how it was. Now, in all of this, and I know what you're all thinking, it's like, Tom, hang on a minute. You're talking about how you don't like this game. No. It's not that I don't like YuGiOh. I just couldn't, especially not back then. Like, maybe times have changed, but that's just how it was. It's like, I cannot keep up with this anymore. I need to just stay away from it and just focus on something else in my life. Because I just can't play YuGiOh as and it feels like I'm an old man at this point. It's like, I can't play YuGiOh anymore because I'm old. It just wasn't fun for me back then. And I know you're all thinking, but you're playing YuGiOh literally right now. Like, right now. This is YuGiOh Duelist of the Roses. The difference is, I am actually having fun with this game, and I do have fond memories of it, and I do want to show it to you all. So that's the difference there. But I'm talking about competitively, as far as going to tournaments, as far as keeping up with the recent sets, or going to pre-releases, or even just collecting the cards. No. I got to that point where I just could not do it anymore. Now, there is, however, a happy ending to this story. And I know what the comment section is going to be like. It's like, you've just riffed on this game for that long. And wow, you're really riffing on this game, Tom. And you're right. I have done that. And by the way, he's just played a ritual monster. That's cool. But what I want to say, okay, I want everyone to be aware of this right now. There is a happy ending to this story that actually, in a weird way, I kind of have to thank YuGiOh in a weird way. I know that sounds weird. It's like, you've just riffed on this game. You've just talked about how you don't like getting into ruling arguments. What the heck, Tom? But here's the happy ending, right? When I retired, I decided to sell not my entire YuGiOh card collection, but I sold a lot of cards on eBay. A lot. And I'm talking like really rare cards too. Like cards that... Oh, wait, where are you going? Oh, okay, I see. I'm talking cards that fetched for at least 50 a piece. Like, I'm not kidding. I had such a big collection that even the stuff that wasn't as valuable, I made a ton of money selling cards. And I mean a lot. So, having said that, I made all that money, and this is the happy ending, right? I made probably like 1,000 or some. It was something stupid like that. Like, I made a ton of money selling Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and it was that I was like, wow, okay, I didn't realize my collection was that big. By the way, I lost, but I don't care. I was really surprised that, because I kept onto these cards for so long, I kept a lot of cards. I kept my main decks. I kept the Insectors. I kept the Toons. I kept the Trains. And to be fair, I do still play with friends. Like, I haven't completely retired. Just retired from basically just playing the game competitively. That's where I've left. But because I made so much money, I was actually able to make my dream a reality. I'm not even kidding. I made that much money. So I put all that money aside, and I went to New York Comic-Con in 2017 with that money. And my dream for the longest time was to meet Tara Strong in person. That was my dream. That was the thing that I wanted the most, and the reason why, well, I'm gonna explain that in another episode, because that's a story in and of itself. But bottom line, I really wanted to meet Tara Strong so much, and there was a period where I couldn't because of stuff that was going on in my life, and it was really upsetting. It's like, I will never get to see her. But because of all that money I made from selling Yu-Gi-Oh, I was able to meet her in person at New York Comic-Con. And here is just one picture I took with her. This is a story in and of itself, but the bottom line is this. Even though I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh anymore, and I've just reached that point in my life where, like, I cannot keep up. I cannot hate Yu-Gi-Oh in its entirety. Not really. There's, like, I just can't. Even with all the complaints, even with all of the ruling arguments, the ridiculous mechanics, the constant special summoning of monsters, I don't even play the game anymore. I can never truly hate Yu-Gi-Oh. I should never ever think otherwise, because Yu-Gi-Oh was responsible for making my dream come true, and Yu-Gi-Oh as a franchise has my undying gratitude for allowing that to happen, because my time with Yu-Gi-Oh was never wasted. That tells me that despite everything I've been through throughout my life playing Yu-Gi-Oh, it was never a waste, because it all paid off in the end. I had my fun playing the game, and when it was time to give up and retire, the game was just like, hey, no hard feelings, you go get 'em. And for that's why I still like this franchise, even now. Like, I'm playing this right here, right now. I'm playing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses because it's still fun. It can still be fun, and I will never, like, in a weird way, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has my thanks. It's just a pity that Link monsters are now a thing, and now I can't play the game even if I wanted to, because the game is basically based on making sure that your opponent can never play the game. So even if I did pull myself out of retirement, I could never play the game anyway, because the game is literally rigged to make sure that I will never get to play anyway. But all the same, I'm happy I played the game, and it was rewarding. So, whew, I I don't know how long this video's been. I'm probably going to cut it down because I've just been rambling for so long. Like, the game's basically over and I'm just dueling Pegasus because I can. But that's about it. That's my story. That's essentially what the story in a nutshell is. Basically, I played Yu-Gi-Oh! I enjoyed Yu-Gi-Oh! But eventually I could not play the game anymore, and the game did reward me for playing. So I can't blame it for that. So anyway, I'm going to finish this duel right here. There's Illusionist Faceless Mage, who, by the way, I've not actually seen him fight, so I'm going to let this play out. Also like how you go down the stairs here. But yeah, I should be done. Again, this episode has gone on for far too long. And I am going to edit this episode because I've just been rambling for most of this, so I'm sorry if I rambled, guys, but I'm gonna finish this duel off. Alright, I'm finally done. He's finally dead. That took longer than I thought it was going to, but it doesn't matter. So I'm gonna try and get Millennium Shield. So, anyway. Yes! Yes, I got it! Is there anything else I truly want from this? No, it's fine. I got it. I got the card I wanted. So it was worth it. It was absolutely worth it. Nobody got upgraded though, and that was kind of a shame. But anyway, guys, this is the end of the episode. I am not going to call this a finale because I actually want to know what you guys think. I'm sorry that I rambled on in this episode. I just wanted to get that off my chest and tell my story. But there is something that I do want to do, and I might as well show you here. Should I continue playing this game? Because what I want to do is collect every single card on here, which is possible to an extent. Granted, there are cards that are strictly unobtainable, such as, let me give some examples here. Actually, where's Hungry Burger? Because that's one. There you are. So that will always be unobtainable, but I still count it as gotten because I have summoned it. But as far as everything else goes, should I continue on? Or at the very least, I am thinking, because now that we've got the Curse of the Millennium Shield, what do we need for Millennium Shield? Let's have a look at you. Let's have a look. 3 monsters with defense of 2000 or higher. So I could summon Millennium Shield. Also, I don't know if Ryoku is obtainable either, because that was a special card. But what do you guys think? What do you think? I want to hear what your thoughts are. I want to hear what you want me to do. I mean, I could end the series right now because I have done all that I wanted. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and I'll be sure to get back to this. But overall, I've had fun. Actually, can I have a look at this one at least? Yeah, I do like Great Moth. Look at him. Is there a way to zoom out? No. I'm just... There we go. There we go. He looks cool, actually. Oh, actually, there is someone else I do want to check on. Where are you? But hey, whatever you guys think of this series, I'm glad I played it. It is a fun game. I do highly recommend it. And I certainly do think this is a classic. So please, please give this game a try. If nothing else to take away from this series, please give this game a try. It's definitely an underrated classic. I'm just viewing on Fairy's gift because she's cute. And I like butterfly women. But until next time, guys, hey, at the very least, whether we end the series here or we keep going, thank you very much for watching, and thank you so much for listening to my Yu-Gi-Oh story. It does mean a lot. I'm glad I finally got that off my chest. And there are parts of the story I left out, but for the most part I did tell it. But hey, thank you all for listening, and thank you all for watching me play a pretty solid game. But until next time, this is TomoGotchi signing off. Click, click! Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and hit the bell.